Recording in progress.
Okay, well, welcome to our November 6, 2025 meeting of the Charter Revision Board. I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask our mayor, who's here, to please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's see if I remember.
I didn't give you any.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good job.
I learned from the 8-year-olds who lead us in the pledge during our
Hey,
meetings.
could we call the roll, please?
Yes, sir. Michael Albetta,
Here.
Nadine Hankerson,
Here.
Bernadette Norris Weeks, Mary Peliquin,
Here.
and Chair Weiss.
We have a quorum present. I'm going to take a prerogative of the chair because I know the mayor has some places to be after this. And he's asked to be moved up to the top of the agenda, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do unless there's an objection.
All right, well, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I've been wanting to come to this board for a long time and unfortunately, my schedule just hasn't been as cooperative as I hoped. But so I appreciate your allowing me to be here tonight for your November meeting. Let me start out by saying that you folks have done an amazing job at scouring through our current charter and coming up with the necessary changes that I feel are important to keep the city going forward. We are a growing city, we have an awful lot happening in our city. Much of the dynamic of Fort Lauderdale has changed significantly over the decades in which this charter has operated under. And so for that reason, I wanted to come today to talk about just a few things that I think the board should consider if it hasn't already, with regard to matters that I think are important to keeping the city running efficiently and in a way that is responsive to the people who live in our community. So years ago, the city, the charter was changed to incorporate some elements that before the city had not experienced. And one of the things that we did was we changed our election cycle to November. And we did it without a primary. And I want to know, or I'd like the board to think about entertaining a conversation to see what are the benefits of having brought it to November as opposed to bringing it back to March. The pros and the cons. Has it been successful? Has it been in the best interest of the city to have the elections in November? And if the board believes that it's worked out well, do we want to incorporate a primary? Because it's really winner take all and it's been by plurality as opposed to majority. In the past, when we had the elections in March, it was by majority because we had a primary. I think it was in January, we had the primary and then the election was in March. So something to think about. We also extended the term from 3 years to 4 years. And I actually prefer the 4-year term because I think it makes more sense. But when I originally started out, when I served my first term as mayor, it was for 3 years. Actually, it was truncated, it's only 2 years and 10 months, but that's okay. And
Who's counting?
Who's counting? But in any case, it's something to think about. It's certainly better than many other mayors. For example, there was an election Tuesday in Miami Beach, and it reminded me how difficult it is for that mayor who has to serve just 2 terms before they run for re-election. Same with some of the local areas, like Wilton Manors is 2 years. And I have to tell you, to be honest with you, as a mayor, you can't really follow and pursue an agenda and try to bring, collaboration with your fellow colleagues on the commission in such a short period of time. Nothing can get done. Which brings me to the next question. We're a growing city, we've got a lot going on. I remember when I was first a commissioner in 2003, if I got 2 emails a week, I was lucky, okay, if that many. Now we're a much more communicative city. We have a lot of people who ask a lot of questions, a lot of probing questions, a lot of questions that deserve in-depth responses. We now have 2 members, two employees per member of the commission to work with us to try to respond to emails, and not just emails, but attending events, participating in forums, all of that. So the question, what's the question I'm going to ask here? Should we keep the commission at just 5 members? Should we expand it to 7? Should we divide the city up into 6 districts rather than just keeping it at 4? In that way, it would allow more responsiveness to the community, to people who want to hear from their commissioner, rather than finding themselves often not getting a response from their commissioner because the volume of business has definitely increased over the years. Something to think about. Cities of our size often have 7 members. So it's something to think about, and how can we best serve the members of our community by perhaps adding to the number of commissioners that currently sit on the board. Another thing that we did a few years ago, and this has to do with elections again, was the donation amounts, how much we were allowed to give. It's $1,000. In this case, it's one time, because before we would have $1,000 for the primary and $1,000 for the final election. Is that something to consider? Is that too much? Is that too little? Some people think that people are buying the election, but the fact is, it's the dirty little secret in every election is that the Supreme Court of the United States and the case law here in Florida has allowed for political committees to serve in the shadow of a political campaign. So very often, larger amounts above and beyond the $1,000 are permitted to be donated to an organization called a political committee. It used to be called a political action committee. We have no control over that, I don't think. So question is, do we want regular hard money donations to be limited to $1,000? Do we want to increase that amount? Do we want to decrease that amount? Something that I think deserves discussion. And finally, I would like the board to entertain a conversation regarding the mayor form of government that we have. Right now, we have what's called a weak mayor form of government. And as I go to so many different conferences and I attend meetings throughout the state and throughout the country, I notice that cities that grow can only grow with efficient forms of government. And I find that Fort Lauderdale is often held back in being responsive to the people by the mayor not having more authority than the mayor's position currently has. Many people come to me and they say, fix this, get this done, why don't you do this? Well, I don't have the authority. Keep in mind, my only job as mayor, I have 2 jobs: run the meetings and be the spokesperson for the city. I have nothing else, but everybody thinks I run the city. And when it's good, I take credit. And when it falls apart, I say, oh, that's their responsibility. So and when you look at Tampa, you look at Jacksonville, you look at West Palm, these and the city of Miami. Now they're all bigger cities, but we're going to get big. Everyone thinks that all the Manhattanites are moving to South Florida now because of Mamdani. So which I think is silly, but the point is there'll continue to be a migration to Florida, and and we're doing our best to try to attract young people here to our city. You'll see much of the population growth is people who are in their 20s and 30s. This morning we did the marker reveal for Diana Nayad, who who swam, from Key West to Cuba. That lady, she tried 4 times and failed. Can you imagine starting out and then getting, 2/3 of the way?
Great movie.
Is it a good
The
movie?
movie is
I'll have to
great.
see it. So she sees Cuba in her sights and she's just, I can't do it anymore. So at 64 years of age, this lady finally succeeds after 52 hours, just over 2 days. And she finally succeeded, and we have a commemoration marker on the beach at the end of Las Olas Boulevard. And anyway, I just think, I forgot why I brought that up, but the point is that we have, we are a growing city and
Challenges? Is that
what's
what it
that?
was? Is it about challenges?
No, it wasn't about challenge, no, it's about, to me, a strong mayor form of government means that we're more responsive to the people. We are a growing city. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. So when we're walking up to the marker, I was walking up with these folks, and one was a young guy in his 20s, and he said, hi, I've always wanted to meet you, my name is so and so. He's like 10 feet taller than me, and he said, yeah, I grew up here. No, I grew up here, but I went to school out of town, and I went to Charleston. And he said, but I came back home, he said, this is where it's all at, and I was like, music to my ears to hear all that, cause this is what we're doing, right? So when I see more and more young people, the next generation who are the foundation for the future of our city, moving to our city, whether they live downtown or, they're in a home, single family home, I continue to be reminded of the progress we are making to create Fort Lauderdale as a destination city, not just for visitors, but for people, who ultimately wanna, build their life here. So something to think about, because having a strong mayor form of government allows the mayor to be more responsive. People know that they know who to contact if they're looking for something to be done in their city, rather than my deflecting to the city manager or one of the assistant city managers. And oftentimes people are put off by that because it makes it look like we're passing the buck. So November elections are primary, 4-year terms, expanding or not expanding the commission size, donation amounts, and strong mayor form of government. Those are the 5 things I wanted to bring up tonight, just so that you might wanna consider a conversation. It doesn't have to happen tonight, but it would be nice at least have the conversation and let there be some kind of community input as to the pros and cons of these issues. That's why I came here tonight. Thank you, Richard.
Would anybody like to say anything to the mayor while we have him here?
Any questions, thoughts?
Yes, I do. Speaking about elections, would you be receptive in such as the city of Pompano has commissioners, alternate commissioners, they elect alternates?
Oh, staggered terms,
seats,
yeah.
yes.
Of course, Pompano is not a good example because they have 6-member commissions and
Well.
it is a stalemate there all the time. But staggered terms makes a lot of sense
Mhm.
because when I was elected mayor, we had almost a whole new commission. And when I was first elected a commissioner back in 2003, there were 3 new people. So I think that it helps maintain continuity if we have staggered terms rather than an entire commission being elected. It depends, there are pros and cons to that. Some people wanna, get rid of everybody and start all over again. That's not constructive, although it sounds great politically, but oftentimes that holds a city back because to flush out everybody, sometimes you lose the momentum of much of the progress you've been able to accomplish, in the time period that those people have served. So definitely an issue I would think you could discuss, the staggered terms, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, anybody else?
I know it's a lot to think
Mary?
about, yes.
Well, I agree with you about the number of districts that we have, because you know, for instance, District Two, I mean, it's just geographically, it's huge. And so many
And
different,
diverse.
so many, yeah. But I wonder how, I mean, do you wait till there's a census and look at the population? That doesn't seem like it could be just that, but you know, there's, I think that happened the last time when we kind of redid the districts, but I do agree that, you know, that particular district is really big. And I'm not sure about
Well, all the districts have about the same population.
yeah. it's
That's
just-
why District Two shrank geographically and District One increased geographically because of the population shift.
But it was just one neighborhood, one,
Well, we ended up just using, but one neighborhood, Poinsettia Heights is a big neighborhood, you
Yeah.
know, it's where I
actually
live.
your neighborhood.
I lost my district.
You're with me now.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
But I do agree that
Something to think about.
that would be, yeah, I can see that.
Anybody else?
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
So Mayor, I have a couple of things to say. First, I wanna thank you and your commissioners. This has been a wonderful board to work with. Very hardworking, couple of full days taken away from work, and I really feel like we have, you know, a very good group. And so I appreciate the fact that your commissioners gave us this nice group to work with. Second thing, so the second thing I wanted is to give you a little preview about what I'm planning to say, cause I know you're gonna leave.
It's okay, I have time, don't worry.
I saw what happened at the commission meeting. And I-
Which commission meeting?
when the workshop where
Oh, the
you guys
workshop,
were.
okay.
And I do feel like there's certain things that the commission asked us to do that we should do. They asked us to look into this thing or discuss that thing, that's fine. I don't feel that once the commission said, we wanna do this, we wanna do that, and there was certain direction about, you guys agreed on to do. I don't really feel like it's our role as the charter revision board to start rewriting charter sections. And I think that there should be a division made between work that legitimately a citizens group should do and others which you should say, the commission agrees, city attorney, go draft this stuff.
Well, the thing is, Richard, this is the citizen group.
That's what I'm saying. I
Yeah.
think there's certain things that we should be doing, but not redraft. When you guys have decided on something, it shouldn't be our job to redraft. That's the city attorney's job.
Well, the thing is, we kind of depend on your collective wisdom to flesh out some of these things. You know, while it is a public meeting and people are invited to come here, but at the same time, it gives us some direction as to, you know, as you solicit opinions from people, it gives us some direction as a commission as to, you know, what the temperature is of the community. And I think that, you know, as I go around, these topics come up all the time.
Yes.
And I just bring it to your attention, not that you've not heard it before, but that it might be worthy of a discussion, maybe even advertise that, you know, you're going to be discussing these things and people might wanna come and, you know, it might fill the room up a little bit more. You know, like for example, last week we had this town forum on the Galleria, right? I mean, between all the crazy stuff you hear on Nextdoor and all the things that back and forth of all these, you know, conspiracy theories and all this stuff, I said, enough already, let's have a forum in which, you know, Anthony was able to get up there and explain how the law works, you know, what are the facts, you know, put aside all this conjecture and hysteria. And I can't tell you how many people have come up to me afterwards and said, thank you for at least allowing us all to understand the process. So and they commend you, Anthony, for you know, standing up there and just going point by point, you know, what we can do, what we can't do. And the good thing about it is the developer was there, not in person, but they watched online. We had over 300 people watch online. And they came up to me the following day at an event and they said, you know, Mayor, we hear it, we see it, we're gonna work with you. So it's that open discussion within the community that's necessary. And I think that people have been talking about, you know, what should we do with the number of commissioners, you know, should we have a primary? Especially when you have a lot of people in a race. I remember when I first ran for city commission, there were 7 people, remember, Mike?
Yes, we do.
7 people in that race.
Yes, very well.
Right, and we had a primary and then it whittled it down to.
I think maybe I'm not being,
Yeah.
just one second, maybe I'm not being clear. The issues that you asked us to discuss, I think we should discuss them. What I'm talking about is this, the notes that we have from the joint meeting.
Right.
Say revised language to be consistent with the election cycles established by the state. I mean, that's not for us to do, that needs to be done by the city attorney. Reduce the number of absences to 3 versus 4. There was so there's some things like that which it's not, you guys told us what to do, and I think those things should be done by the city attorney's office and give it back to you. And the things that you said, give us input on this, give us discussion about this, what do you think? That's great,
Well, those are ministerial things, I get it.
that's what I'm talking about.
These are policy.
But in the memo that we got back from Anthony on what happened, there's a number of ministerial things there that I think really should be taken care of ministerially, and that's the point that I was making.
Okay.
Yes, Bernadette.
So, and I absolutely agree with our chair. So our first couple of meetings, what I found myself doing along with Richard and everyone else was wordsmithing things and taking, no, that's not what that means. And actually doing legal work for, this is nice and I love being here and thank you for appointing all of us, but we really shouldn't be here doing legal work. And so I think that's what Richard is saying.
Well, you can't help
I don't need
yourself.
to, I don't need to amplify, but I just wanted to agree, and you're right, though, there are certain ministerial things that, we're expecting the legal
Right.
department to.
Well, they are controversial things, those ministerial things are controversial.
That's what I'm talking about, is those things should be done by them. The
Right.
controversial things, we're happy
We're
to
happy,
talk about and
yeah.
get our teeth in.
And that's what I brought up controversial
Yes, yeah,
right? They're not ministerial.
I'm reacting not to what you've presented
Yeah,
today,
I know.
but to the notes we got from the city workshop meeting, which asked us to draft a section changing it from 3 to 4 people. That's not for us.
And honestly, it was just the first time we ever had a dialogue,
Yeah.
right? And even a dialogue amongst the commissioners. It was the first time we ever had a chance to talk, since we can't, sunshine law doesn't allow us to, have private meetings. It was really the first opportunity we really had to honestly address some of the things that we were concerned with. But I agree with you, to your point, a number of those things were more ministerial than policy.
And the last thing personally, it's been a total pleasure for us to be able to talk. I didn't know you before I got appointed to this at all, so that's been a real pleasure of mine, so.
Great, well, we appreciate that. We count on your experience. You've been city attorney for different cities as Bernadette is. And so, you bring a seasoned opinion from your experiences, and you can see what other cities are doing or aren't doing. So we wanna be, we're a city on the move, we wanna be able to make sure that our constitution is gonna allow us the flexibility as well as give us direction on how we're gonna be able to move into, I keep saying move into the 21st century. We're moved in, we're 25 years into right, we're 25 years into the 21st century. Where did that happen? So,
Anyway, I think we're on the same page.
Okay, good.
So I think describing things as ministerial or administrative clarifies things, and we don't need to deal with those things, and we can go as we go through it. But these other things I think would be very interesting to talk about, and I think they're certainly, within our purview.
Okay, I'm just looking to see what else you had planned on here. A lot of it just
There's
looks.
a lot of good stuff after you leave.
Exciting things.
Oh, and also I have to tell you that your staff has been doing a very good job, Anthony, Paul,
Yep.
Junior,
Yeah.
and Gabrielle, very, very good job.
Raise.
And also very good snacks.
She's my favorite.
Very good snacks.
We have had very good snacks.
All right, well,
Okay. So you're welcome to stay, but we're gonna move on here.
yeah, I appreciate that. Well, thank you for allowing me to speak.
you're busy, so. Okay. All right, can we have a motion to approve the minutes?
The mayor wants to stay.
He likes our snacks.
Don't eat all the cookies.
On the way out.
Can we have a motion to approve the minutes if you looked at them?
Move to approve.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unopposed? Okay. Old business. Okay, so now we're back to your memo, Anthony, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, and I've gone through it. I think that it would be worthwhile just for us to flip through it, just to sort of implement what we just sort of tacitly agreed to, which is we're gonna talk about certainty of these things, or we could do it one by one by one. And just, you know, send certain of the stuff back over to the city attorney's office and, or you wanna just go through one by one by one?
Let's go through.
Okay, alright. Any overriding comments you wanna make before we sort of dive into each one?
No, the point of the memo was really just to give you an idea of what was discussed at the meeting and how they'd like to proceed, and I think with that clarification now, we can go through it, and see anything glaring, and we can,
Okay,
we'll continue to work together and.
okay, that's great.
Okay, and by the way, a lot of those changes have been made and we just included them
Right, but I'm just, if they're within that purview, I'm not gonna do it. Just to let them send them back to the city commission the way they wanted them, and we're not gonna spend time on them.
Do you want me to start off with 3.03 though, because that's a pretty significant one.
Sure, that's what's next.
Okay.
Go for it.
So,
Let's start with, did you all read the comments from Anthony? You saw what they said, the mayor expressed concern the case law is too vague. Language should be firmed up on what it means to be a permanent resident. Vice mayor expressed concern using homestead as a means of determining residency, that'd be problematic. Okay, response, provide a definition and qualification of a permanent resident. Okay, as far as.
so as a result of the city commission discussion, I added subsection D to what we had previously approved with different forms of proof of residency, some of which I borrowed from a Division of Elections opinion on voter residency, copy of which is also included, you can peruse that. And also some of which I borrowed from the Department of Revenue criteria for homestead tax exemption. So I came up with 11 criteria with a required showing of at least 5, but that's a random number, subject of course to your recommendation and your discussion and direction. But that's what I put together to present. So if you look at subsection D on page 2 of 35 of Exhibit C, you'll see the 11.
Paul, hang on one second.
Hold on,
We're looking on exhibit C
Exhibit C.
on page 2.
Okay, thank you very much for the clarity.
Yeah, so if you start with subsection D.
Is Exhibit C or D?
Exhibit C,
Exhibit C,
page
right?
2,
Page
subsection.
2. Subsection D.
Thank you.
Oh, making good choices.
So much for that.
So some of these,
Teamwork.
you know, I picked a random number of at least 5 that have to be shown, just to have something. And so these are things that can be presented, 5 of which are enough to qualify someone as a permanent resident. So that was kind of the direction at the city commission
Messed
meeting.
up, the human resources department's making a lot of noise.
We tend to do that.
Oh, bravo.
The snacks, these snacks.
Oh.
Can't argue with that.
Okay,
So I present that to you for discussion. There's really no, as I say, the 5
just
is
stop,
is
hold on,
random.
stop there for a second. Okay, comments.
The one, is it, I think they're all pretty good, the only one is the, number 8, property appraiser's record showing ownership of homestead property within the city or district is applicable. And that's something I think can only be changed once a year, as I remember somebody saying. So I don't know if that's, or what if you're a renter?
Lisa's there, 11.
Oh, okay.
In other words,
Okay,
some-
it's just one of the things, one of the things, okay.
and they would have to
okay.
present whatever number you decide. I randomly put 5.
So this is what I did, this is what I was, the exercise I'd like to do, because you guys are more creative than me. Is there a person that really should be able to run for office that doesn't have 5 or 6 of these? Can we come up with a theoretical person that doesn't have 5 or 6 of these things? Clearly, a person could be qualified to run if they don't have a driver's license or identification number, right?
Correct.
Okay, so that one, our theoretical person might not have those but could still be qualified, yeah?
Correct.
Vehicle registration, mean they might not own a car, right? So our
That's right,
theoretical
yeah.
person might not have a car. Voter registration card,
They have to,
they have to, right?
must.
They must have that, right? Because they have to be elector, right? Okay, so that's, that's one. Recorded declaration of domicile and residency showing a home address, I don't even know what that is.
That is an FP&L bill, a domicile, speaking on behalf of my business, what I do.
Of course.
That is considered an FP&L bill, a water bill, or a voter registration.
Those are covered separately, but what is this certified copy of a recorded declaration of domicile, what is that?
That is, again, that is a document that it has to be notarized and signed off by the person stating that they live at that, they dwell at that.
Let me just stop to make sure I'm not going through an exercise that we are all, you guys are on the same page as me. I'm trying to say,
no, you're fine.
are we disqualifying somebody from running that theoretically could be a person that should be entitled to run just because they don't have 5 or 6 of these? And if we can't, that's great. You know, if we can't come up with them, then maybe these are great criteria, but maybe.
Point of information,
Yes.
there was an election where it was questionable of a person had 2 domiciles, and one the person had homestead in another county.
Yeah.
On the house.
I get it. Okay, so I've never, what?
Sure.
Yes.
There's a statute that addresses this.
Yeah.
So in section 222.17,
Right.
any person who shall have established a domicile in this state may manifest and evidence the same by filing in the office of the clerk of the circuit court for the county in which the said person shall reside a sworn statement showing that he or she resides in and maintains a place of abode in that county which he or she recognizes and intends to maintain as his or her permanent home.
Okay, but,
So that's under 222.17.
Thank you.
okay, but
So
no, but a lot of people are not gonna have that, right? A qualified person might be, just not have it, they never did it, right?
but they could.
No, but I'm just saying that, you know, at the time they're registered, at the time they're qualifying, they don't have it.
They don't have it,
They don't have it, they never did it. It says a person may, you don't have to.
I'm kind of a little bit confused by some of the legal.
What
That
it
thing
is,
was
it's getting a certificate from the state that you're domiciled in a particular place, that's what it is. It's a,
I mean, I don't have that.
I don't know.
What is this?
Domicile
A
thing.
certified copy of recorded declaration of domicile, I don't have it.
Is your house homesteaded?
No, it says it's a certified copy of it's a particular document that's contemplated by the Florida statutes that most people don't have.
Well, if I may say, when, and I'm going like this because that's basically what I'm doing, is that when I'm taking a homestead application and then you read the closing statement, it's under the Florida statutes of, what's it, 171 36, I believe it is, that you swear that you domicile that house there. And then you say, yes, everything is true, and then you say, may I take your legal signature on this? Yes, you can. May I proceed? Yes.
Good.
That's it.
We do have it.
That's a document that's recorded that maybe some of you don't know about, you know,
I
but it's
never
there.
copied a certified.
And by the way-
222.17 states that you may do this. It doesn't,
Require it.
yeah, it doesn't require it.
And by the way, Mr. Chairman, so this comes from the criteria that are in the property tax information for homestead exemption, and this is from the Department of Revenue's website, which is consistent with what you were saying, that's one of the things. It says declaration of domicile and residency date. It's one of the things that property appraisers look at for a homestead.
Correct.
All right, can we agree that a qualified person might not have this?
I agree.
Okay, so that's right, okay.
Here's the other thing I was wondering, what do you all think about, I just think this whole 6 months thing is just a little on the shorter side. I see a year quite
You mean
bit.
like,
Yeah, I think
Yes, I can understand why you say,
you can fudge 6 months and, like, you know, maybe
Well,
if you have
yeah.
all of these other things, maybe it's not as easy, but still,
I think a year is,
Yeah, a year, I think
I could be supportive of it.
I would do.
What do you think,
If they have to be, their permanent residence has to be in the area where they're, you know.
let's stop for a second, let's finish going through what I was
Okay,
doing,
okay.
let's go back to that. Okay, so far, we only have one of these things that person would have to have. Okay, address on the last Internal Revenue Service tax return showing a home address within the city or district is applicable. Do you have to have that? Does everybody file a tax return? I guess so.
Can I make a comment on that? I guess if you're 18, if you do have a requirement at age 18, somebody might not have an IRS.
And also low income may not
Okay.
have.
Alright, so that one's no. Okay, bank statement, people don't have, a lot of people don't have banks, forget that. Proof of payment of utilities, a home address, I think a lot of people could pay rent and it'd be, and the utilities included.
Or you could
Without
live with your
being a
parents.
lease.
Or you could live with your parents,
you don't need.
or you could live with me. Property appraisers, record showing ownership of property, no. Item of mail with postmark direct to the person's home address. You'd have a post office box, maybe they would have to have that. Evidence on the carrying of activities normally in their home life, that's the standard anyway. That's the standard that we talked about, that's in all the cases, which is not, this is a nothing.
That you're gonna come back to all the time.
10 is huge, anything. I really don't know. Certain people would say, I never carry on normal activities.
What is that?
What is that? Residential lease showing a home, yeah, maybe, you could live with your parents. I think you could be qualified with respect, I think you could be totally qualified to run for office. You are an 18-year-old person, you are living with your parents, you don't file a tax return. You're a registered voter, and you wouldn't meet these criteria. That's the problem with the criteria. Do you think I'm wrong?
I think some of these can certainly come out.
Right?
What about adding school record?
They don't need to be in school, they're working at McDonald's, living at their parents, working at McDonald's, and earning low income, they don't have a car, they don't have a bank account, they got nothing, they're just, they got a vote, they've registered to vote.
Right.
They're just starting out in life.
And they're gonna run for office?
Yeah.
Sorry.
They're pretty dynamic
They're
though.
very,
I just-
they're very, but they just haven't had the opportunities
Yeah.
that others people.
Point of information, you had a resident of Fort Lauderdale, 18 years of age, ran for president of the United States.
There you go.
True.
Okay?
Right. So. They've asked us to do this. I think it's a bad idea.
This one, they have to be a registered voter.
There's only one of these things, one, that everybody would have to have. And the other ones, you could easily be qualified without any of the other ones. Maybe a male,
I think
maybe,
there's two.
yeah, to the male, right?
Mhm.
But under what has been proposed, if you only have two of those, you can't run.
Let me ask
The,
you a
uh,
question, what
At
is
least
it that
five.
we are avoiding? Cause there's something that is
Oh, yeah, see what I did?
pushing this question that may have happened from the question on 6 months versus a year, a license
What's the
versus.
impetus for this? I
Yeah,
mean,
so what is it that is driving this
I will
issue?
tell you that the issue of who's qualified is common in communities. You know, I think there was an issue with one of the commissioners this time, whether he was living here or there, whether he was qualified. I'm not gonna say it's common, but it's regularly litigated as to whether somebody is actually residing within their district or within their state. I think what they're trying to do is trying to make it more objective so that there's less wiggle room kind of thing. And if you meet these criteria, we could also do it the other way, which is, could we come up with a person who actually doesn't live here? Who doesn't live here, you like that? Look, why don't you do it? You know it's true, you know you could do it, right? You can come up with a person who doesn't even live here. Okay. So,
Yeah, that's.
driver's license could have their parents, okay, this person is living in Orlando, right? The driver's license, which they have when they got from high school, that has their parents' address. So that would be one they could have. Voters registration, same thing with their parents' address. Voters registration card, maybe they couldn't, but they might still be registered as their parents' address. Recorded declaration of domicile, I don't even know what that is. But the IRS tax return, maybe they file a tax return, but they just use their parents' address. Bank statement, you can just use your parents' address for everything. My kids use our address for a long time. They were in college, they were traveling around, they were doing that. That's the problem with these criteria.
Mr. Chair, the material I got from the Department of Revenue website says this: your property appraiser may ask for any of the following items to prove your residency. So, and some of these things came from
I mean, if they wanted to change this to, for purposes of succession, continue residence, in order to determine permanent residence, the following factors might be looked at.
Well,
then
I
it
think
becomes
you said-
subjective.
Yeah, it is subjective. And this is staff's proposal for us to
Yeah.
review. So the commission gave the general guideline of, we want you to look at these,
Right.
residency issues. So staff is coming back and they're saying, okay, here are all of these things. Now, I think maybe it would be a good thing for us to go through and just take out some of the things that we have concerns about.
Out of the list.
Out of the list, yeah, the things that 18-year-old person, that you're top fictitious person that
My
you're
kids,
referring to.
my kids would
Yeah.
qualify for a lot of that, they used to. So you think that we should respond with some sort of,
Well, I think this is the staff's response for us to review. And so we're
Right.
now reviewing what's been put forward. The commission doesn't even have this, right? This is just you
Correct.
guys saying,
so you think it's a bad idea for us to say, we think you have a really bad idea, commission? It's a
well,
really crummy idea.
well, I think we could take that position as well. But,
Okay, we could say both.
yeah,
We could say, you know what, this is a really bad idea, however, because we're here to serve, if you're gonna do it, here's what you should do.
Cause you kind of already did, right? The recommendation was to just rely on state statute.
We had a big, long discussion for days about this. We finally came back to the fact that it's gonna be defined by case law,
Case
and
law,
that's
sorry.
gonna be the deal, that's where we were. But apparently they don't like that so much.
maybe they didn't have a clear understanding of what
Case law.
case
Did
law.
you talk to them about this, Paul?
I presented what you had approved and there was discussion. And the discussion pretty much was, we want something more objective, we want
Yeah,
something.
something more than case law.
Yeah, and they did use that term.
Criteria.
Yeah, something more than case law. This is more than case law. This is good. Now we can look at it and dissect it.
I don't think there's anything wrong with any of these things if they are indicia of residents. But I think because of this conversation we've had, to make it a blanket thing, which you can't run unless you have 6 of these things or 5 of these things.
Well, here's the thing, like, we were talking about, you could live in another state and use your parents' address. And like yourself, I had kids that were in college and as they before they landed somewhere.
Yeah, of
Use our address. But, I mean, they're actually lying if they really live in Orlando and say I live in Fort Lauderdale using their parents' address. I mean, they're gaming the system at the very.
Every candidate that qualifies to run for office swears under penalty of perjury that they live in the correct place. But yet,
They don't.
Tons of cases about it.
yes, every single candidate
It
swears.
comes down to their intent
Yes,
and it's
it's it, right, it's
Yeah,
exactly
so
what
you-
you're saying is right.
so if you make it very clear, I think that's a good idea because then you can't challenge it. It's black and white.
If there was a way to make it clear and that wouldn't disqualify people, I think making it clear would be great. It would eliminate a lot of litigation, but I don't know how you can make it clear and not disqualify people.
Well, that may be the result of making sure that you have someone who is understanding of the issues in that district, who has lived there, who has been able to understand, you know, the neighbors' concerns and the specific issues that affect that community. I think that has value, and so I would want that over the 18-year-old who, you know, may still live with mom and may not have had an ID or whatever else. So I think there's value in having.
Okay, so what you're saying is that these criteria could act to eliminate a qualified person, but would also, but also acts as a screening mechanism to make sure that people are.
Yeah, I'm saying under the, small chance that it could, the overall benefit
Is better.
is better. And I was looking at the comment that the mayor made about maybe not having someone as young as 18. I don't think that's necessarily a great idea. I don't mind that if it were some amazing individual who communicated well and,
You gotta get elected too.
and they gotta get elected, so I think that whatever the statute allows for in that case, which is probably
Okay.
18,
And there
is
wasn't
fine.
consensus to
Okay,
to
so what
choose the age.
if we
There
do
wasn't-
this?
There
What if-
was not consensus
What if
to
we do
change
this? Was that, so we, on this particular item, we say that we believe that, this is a good set of criteria, however, then you need to understand that under these criteria, a person who should be qualified to run might, just by the criteria layout, might be excluded. Is that fair?
Well, no, I don't think they've seen the criteria, so when you say
No,
this
I'm
is a
saying,
good set of
we're gonna
criteria-
send these criteria to them, say these are the criteria that, that the staff came up with. We think it's a good set of criteria, however,
I think we should send what we think we agreed to. And so I think that we should go through it, and to the extent that we don't agree with certain things, we should exclude those things and send what we agree with. Maybe some of it is overlapping, it's like some of it I can see, scratching through some of the things you've already raised that we thought, well, maybe that's too much, but I think we should go through it.
okay, so let's go through it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Alright, so for instance, on the first 1 through 7, I don't so much under A 1 through 7.
I was looking at D.
Where are you? I'm sorry.
Am I looking at the right one?
Yeah,
I'm looking
no.
at revised.
No, you should be looking, flip the page,
Okay,
and we're just, the other stuff we already had done before.
oh, okay.
This was just,
Yeah.
all this is about, in my understanding is all we're talking about is the criteria listed under D.
Okay,
D.
alright,
Yeah.
okay.
Which ties back
That's
to-
even easier then, maybe.
We're on which one now?
We're on page 2.
Exhibit C, page 2, yeah.
Exhibit C,
Okay.
and letter D.
It ties back to A1,
That's
have
what
resided
that's why-
continuously.
yeah, that's
It ties
why-
back to that, but these are the criteria that would be used to determine that.
Okay, so with all of this being
Okay,
wrong,
got it.
I'm on the
All
wrong
of
page.
this will be in the charter, right?
And also 6, reside continuously as a permanent resident. That's a little trickier because during someone's term, it would be hard to, I don't think you could require these
We
things.
should look at it all, and it's based on what our attorney is saying. I think we should look at, because some of it looks like it overlaps a little bit.
Alright, so let's start from the top and look at it.
Okay. So under A 1 through 7, those all look fine to me, but there may be.
Nope.
There may be something here that somebody else sees that
I think they're fine as well.
under B, the 1 year is, like I pointed out before, I'd like to see that, but obviously majority rules.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Is there a, taking a little prerogative, Bernadette makes a motion that we change this for discussion purposes to 1 year. I second that. Discussion.
I'm not a big fan of a year. I think if someone comes to a city and wants to participate, they should be allowed to do that.
So you would,
think that being someplace for 6 months is,
okay,
a year is a long time.
yes it is. Michael,
I have no problem with that, a year.
pardon?
Year.
Mary?
I think it should be a year.
All in favor then of changing this residence required to 6 months to 1 year? Say aye. All opposed? Okay, so you'll record Nadine as a no vote. Alright. Let's keep going.
And that's for both, right? For commissioner and mayor.
I'm sorry, that was for,
Commissioner and mayor.
thank you.
And going on to, I don't have a problem with the rest of B1. I don't have any else to do.
You're just going through things.
Now, where it talks about hold no other public office, and you see that duplicated on, let's say under A.
One's for the mayor, one's for commissioner.
Oh, I see, yeah, duh, okay, thank you. Yep. So the vehicle registration, I think we thought that maybe that's not a good idea because you shouldn't require somebody to have a vehicle registration in order to qualify.
I think if we're looking at it as we're gonna leave these criteria in, there's nothing wrong with somebody presenting a vehicle registration and saying, I live here. So in other words, now we're looking at, as opposed to sort of picking,
Okay, I
As the-
see,
as
so
the bid-
at least 5 of these.
yeah,
is
5 of
what
these,
it
and
says,
so that
okay.
could be, there's nothing, that could be legitimate. I don't think there's anything here that's not, would not be legitimate if we're gonna give them a list.
And also, if I may, presumably showing a date of going back now a year.
Okay, we also have to check, D we need to check for 1 year, right? D needs to change again too.
Oh, yeah,
Okay, so if that's where we're looking at this.
yeah, so I think, yeah.
And I'm okay, I see nothing in this list that is wrong, would be wrong to accept.
5 of the 11, someone should have
Yeah.
if they're running.
And as I said, that's a random number. Do you agree with the 5?
I think 5's good,
It's fine.
just as good. Okay,
Wait, what do they show now, really?
nothing.
Nothing.
They just certify. Right now, I imagine if it's like every other city, they go to the clerk, I certify that I read blah, blah, they're done. And then somebody who wants to challenge them, there used to be this procedure where one person could file in front of the city commission and.
Like, somebody was running for something And, you know, you can see all the applications
Yeah.
online.
Yeah.
But their address was blacked out.
Yeah.
Or I guess they didn't want people to see their address. But I'm assuming that the clerk,
Yeah.
but you know, nobody else can.
Yeah, Paul, maybe you could talk about this. So under the prior charter, what happened last time, right? There was a question about whether Commissioner Herbst was living in the district, correct? Okay, so one person, correct? One person, under the prior procedure, please tell me if I'm wrong, one person was able to file a petition with the city commission, and then what happened?
An affidavit setting out facts showing that a candidate has violated the provisions of the charter as the manner of his or her election or is otherwise unqualified to hold office. And what happens next is the city commission shall take proof at such meeting and declare the results.
They have like a little trial, they had a little trial,
They did do that, or they,
they did it.
was that after the election?
No, it held up the,
I don't-
maybe, yeah, when was
It was
it?
after the election.
After, yeah.
They
was
didn't-
after.
They didn't have that
Yeah,
procedure.
yeah.
Does the clerk have?
David, do you know if that whole procedure was before or after the election?
That occurred after the election.
And probably because there's some language about the commission being able to determine the
Qualification.
of its members, right?
This is a specific procedure that was written into the prior charter, that one, and what happens, then one person, any person, files an affidavit, it creates a trial in front of the city commission. I didn't particularly like that.
And your recommendation was to just leave the first sentence. The city commission shall be the judge of all municipal elections and referendums and of the qualifications of its members, subject to review by the courts. And then
That's
you
what
got
I-
rid of the rest of it.
Yeah, that's what I thought should happen, as opposed to one person being able to create a whole trial.
But as you'll hear when we get to 3.04, there is some request for additional input from the city commission.
Okay. All right, so are we okay with this list, with what Paul's proposed, changing it to a year in 3 different places? And they can listen to the conversation, the fact that that there were some concerns about the fact that that they might, because of these criteria, they might exclude a qualified person. There's some chance, yes.
That's a good question. How does case law then would apply to this? Say for whatever reason, would it supersede all of this?
Well, probably, except these are criteria that would go into a finding of permanent residency. The case law is each case is fact specific, so it would.
I think you should change, I think Nadine brings up a very good point. I think this should be it. I think we should eliminate, I think you have to say, versus section, continuous residence at this shall be established, or something like that, which is, so it's clear, must be established by providing a copy of the following. I don't know the exact word, but I mean, this should be it. And that's the idea of it is
Yeah,
this.
I agree, yeah.
That way it's going to be
So something
in the
so
city's
that,
favor.
so right, like so that if somebody challenges one of these people and they go through and they have 5 of these things, it's done.
Yeah,
There's
so,
no
yeah.
judicial interpretation on top of it, if that's what you're asking.
And if there is, it would be in favor of the city,
Yeah.
because it's clear from the charter, yeah.
Also, by number 10 is really a large loophole.
So that comes from the Division of Elections opinion.
This basically, if somebody's relying on 10, that's gonna flip them back into the case law.
You know, someone was giving me the example of maybe a photograph of a birthday party at a house. So let me tell you what the opinion says. So the key element is the intent of the individual, as you were saying. Permanent residence is wherever a person mentally intends it to be and which can be factually supported. Such factual support may be voter registration, driver's license, tax receipts, receipt of mail, carrying on of activities normally indicative of home life,
I hate that.
et cetera.
Hate it.
And then it says et cetera.
Also,
Even worse.
I think by leaving in number 10, you're moving into the
Exactly.
subjective.
Exactly,
I would
again,
eliminate 10.
completely.
And that way you get 50% of these
That way
things.
that way there's no subjective factor, and I would write whatever language it is, Paul, so it must be, I would say it must be established by providing a copy of at least five of the following, must be established. Sure, something like that to make it clear that if you do it, you're done.
You still want 5 now that we're down to 10?
Yeah, 5's good.
Five, yeah, half, you gotta have half these things.
Okay,
That's reasonable.
all right, so
Okay, good.
Gonna do that by motion
we're
or?
gonna do this all, we're gonna take, okay, so Nadine, I'm trying to not have you vote against the whole thing if you don't want to. So let's vote, we've already voted on making it 1 year, and Nadine voted against that, okay. Other than the 1 year portion, could I have a motion to approve this, including eliminating number 10 and putting language into D that makes it mandatory that they show 5 of these things?
I so moved, what, you need me to say that whole thing out?
No.
Okay, okay.
I'm about to say, we have to repeat it, that's
One
kind of.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. Great. That was good.
That'll make
Anybody
them
need a
happy.
snack? We're good.
We've already had two, that's
What's a
okay.
commercial, anybody need a commercial? That's what they made commercials for, you know.
Provide
Commercials-
snacks long time.
Commercials were invented
It's like an
by
insect.
the potato chip companies, so you can go get some snack.
Is that true? It sounds like a
It
good.
sounds like a good thing, all right.
I think maybe that you might have beyond.
All right, Paul, go ahead, this is section 304.
Okay, 3.04 is on page 7 of Exhibit C. And the city commission is seeking your input on a process for qualification of candidates. And that's the one that I alluded to earlier. What you previously had recommended was to leave the first sentence, the city commission shall be the judge of all municipal elections and referendums and of the qualifications of its members, subject to review by the courts.
What did they want?
I think they wanted something more. Anthony, can you elaborate?
Look at my notes.
They want something more for determination of qualifications or rather than just going to the courts, they want your input on adding some kind of process for
They had a process.
determining.
I mean, aren't they talking about a process to look at the criteria we just talked about?
Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah, and there was discussion of that, whether it be the city clerk, the city attorney,
This is what we just talked about.
Yeah, they talked about, they asked, who looks at it now, the discussion was that the city clerk looks at it, and then the mayor had
Because she
mentioned.
qualifies.
I think they want something more than just a ministerial look at it.
Meaning what?
They want a process.
Some kind of process, whether it includes them.
Possibly an opinion letter should be created by the city attorney's office and sent to the city commission for consideration.
I think
City
that's a
clerk
great
should
idea, I
verify
think
it.
that's a good idea, that's an object, you don't like it?
No,
The only,
But it's objective criteria now.
okay, if I'm understanding, maybe I should read it again. The supervisor of elections for your local municipality is always your city clerk. Your city clerk is the person that qualifies the candidates when they come in. They give them the form of oath, they give them all of the documents that are necessary. Doing something beyond that is not ministerial. that should be a ministerial process, period. And so I think if you're doing other stuff that, you know, they're gonna get themselves in trouble because they're going to be, you know, maybe disqualifying foes or it
An
just
opponent,
doesn't,
yeah.
it just doesn't make
But
any
conceptually,
sense.
not talking about who does it, but a process which says, if a candidate's qualifications are challenged, the blank shall review the information submitted.
It doesn't matter.
What about
It doesn't matter because they're gonna take it up to the courts anyway.
That's why we ended up
So
where we
it-
did before.
And it doesn't matter, and then the city attorney is gonna be defending whatever the clerk did, it doesn't really matter. So I'm saying, I think that's just way too much. If I'm understanding what you're saying, like to have a super qualifier, that's not how that should work.
what about an independent hearing officer?
No, I don't think you do anything more, it's a ministerial function.
So,
But what if somebody challenges it?
It doesn't matter, it's the court that's gonna determine.
okay, so let's look at the process.
And this is having done dozens and dozens
Yeah,
of, on the,
Okay.
you know, arguing these
Okay,
things.
so the supervisor, whoever, the clerk takes somebody's thing.
And they have all these five of
Yeah.
the 10 things,
Yeah.
you know?
Fill
Wait a
this
minute,
out,
is the
check this
clerk-
box.
Is the clerk going to have a packet of this information?
Yes, that's what they do.
They're
There
gonna
you go.
say, okay, here's, no, what I'm saying is are they gonna basically, okay, here's your driver's license, check.
Yeah.
Is the clerk gonna do
That's
that?
what the clerk
Yeah.
does.
Okay,
That's the clerk's job.
so they're gonna have and they have to meet 5 of these criteria.
Yes.
And if the clerk, so we can give them a little bit of a process, which is upon receipt of a qualification or office, the clerk shall review the stuff and see if facially, or whatever the word we use, they meet 5 of the criteria, and that's it.
Yeah, that's what
After
the clerk
that,
is.
review by the court, that's what the
That's what the
so why don't we just add a process like that, which gives them a little bit, which is the clerk's gonna do a checklist, and if you have 5 of these things, she's done.
So really, the
Right.
process is you're giving the clerk a checklist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
It's
if
a process.
they don't meet it, they don't meet it,
Right.
but either way, you know, the clerk just is not going to qualify someone who
Right.
doesn't
Oh,
meet.
sounds
the
like David's, are you trying to talk, David?
David.
I was waiting, pardon me, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, I already have a checklist of documents that are required for it, so all I would have to do is just add in a few additional things onto the checklist.
And by the
And
way, go ahead.
yeah, so I don't see that being too big of an issue.
By the way, the discussion of this was before the creation of the 10 or 11 criteria. So they gave you, they made a request for input on that.
That's good to
But
know.
that discussion was before they even knew that I had come up with
Yeah, so that's good to know.
with
So
this, with
Okay.
these
you
11
already
things.
resolved it.
I think that
So that may-
we've come up with a good answer, which is the clerk is gonna review an application when somebody qualifies to see if they meet prima facie or on their face the 5 of these 10 elements, and upon that, she's gonna certify them, and after that, goes to court.
And the language you have is fine.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, what do you have, Paul? Okay, so we need to add some language about the fact that the clerk is gonna review these elements. It'll give them a little something.
I think that's probably already something there that deals with the clerk being the supervisor of elections, right? That's kind of standard language, but
So in the event the clerk doesn't receive or can't check off 5 things,
She's not gonna
She's
allow
not
him to qualify,
exactly.
or he,
and then that person would have to go to court.
That's right.
or go get some more paper.
There's more paper.
And just to be clear, it would just be that I am looking at these documents at their face. I'm not
Exactly.
questioning anything, correct?
To see if they're
Exactly.
forgeries, no, you're just,
On their face.
A forensic analysis or?
no,
And if you're wrong, their opponent will sue.
Yeah.
So don't
So-
worry.
And I have a question, should they
Right.
be just viewed or should they be collected and copied and kept?
They're copied,
Copied and kept with the
I think
packet.
they should be attached to the application, so that now we're creating more of a process.
and they're
And it's
online.
kept in a
too.
blue folder,
Yeah.
and then they keep it under lock and key.
No, it's online
with
for
three-
everybody to see.
With 3 guards.
No,
That would be a process,
it's on the internet, spread around the world,
buried in a treasure.
the universe.
Paul, do you know what we want here?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so,
What are you using to determine the time?
time in terms of what?
The time, the year,
How, have they been there for a year?
Oh,
How do you-
prior to qualification.
prior to qualification.
And it would have to be reflected on the documents.
Oh, something.
Okay.
But I'm saying how, you know, your utility bill don't say you opened up this in 1950, whatever.
But you can at least show one that you paid a year ago.
Yeah,
Or you could get a printout
You get a
from the
printout.
utility.
Print out,
Utility,
yeah.
right.
Okay,
Print out,
well
yeah.
then
Okay.
that's what was gonna,
okay, you good? You,
no, but I'm just saying
I
is
think it's a
that-
good question.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
how are you
Alright, so
gonna make
Paul,
the
for the
time
next meeting,
determination?
Paul, please bring us back a draft of the process that the city commission asked for as we've discussed it. I don't think we need a motion, we just sort of, no, we'll see it when we see it. Okay. Moving on.
That's why
Okay.
now.
Is that 3.05?
Next is 3.05.
Okay, this is an administrative one, we're not gonna deal with this by fiat. We're doing this by fiat. You're changing it, you're gonna do it for them. It's an administrative, ministerial item.
With one caveat though,
What?
you had not discussed this
Sorry,
previously.
we're gonna do what they said.
Okay.
They're just, they know what they want here, right? Next.
Alright, 3.08. This is another one that they just told us to change 4 to 3,
Were we,
absences.
that's what we were talking about.
Right, but this is, no, the other one was designation of vice mayor.
Oh, that's fine, and this one's ministerial too.
Right.
I'm just presenting, this is responding to what they asked us to do
Okay,
and
great,
sharing it with you.
let's go to 309.
3.09.
Recording in progress.
No,
There's
they
no
were fine,
objection to what's there, what was proposed.
great, 10, 12,
12, they asked us to, this is also maybe one of those ministerial kinds of things.
what was their comment?
They asked us to clarify that 72 hours notice means prior.
Okay, so that's a ministerial.
So I added that
Okay,
language.
next. So Paul, the ones that are ministerial, I don't want to show that we've approved or anything, you're just giving them back to them from the city attorney's office. Okay, go ahead.
Next is 315. No objection to your proposed amendment.
Long. Okay,
I'm sure they read it, some of them read it.
There was discussion, there was some
So,
comparison
yeah.
to the current process.
so they were okay with it?
They were okay with this.
Alright, good, next.
Hold on one second. There's a question about the number of people
Are you-
required to start the process, which was clear on my.
So she's on the. Is there a question here or no?
No question, just wanted to catch up with you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ready? Okay.
316, no, I'm sorry, 716, 7.16. That's a correction to delete primary election, that's. Hold on.
So number 716.
716 is on page 22 of 35.
22, 35.
Yeah, see, you guys are all looking at two different things.
So this was a vestige from,
Hold on, let me just, Mary, okay,
I got it.
It's
You got
just
it.
leftover language.
this was leftover language, it wasn't changed, it's really, it's inoperative, is a word. Doesn't really do anything, but it's to correct this, to get rid of the primary language.
okay,
There's no objection to that. 8.01, there was no objection to sale of personal property pursuant to an ordinance.
great. Paul, can I ask you a question? Why, if there was no objection to what we proposed, why do we have them back?
To report back.
Yeah, I just put it there so you could see what they said. It was really just to give you more
Okay.
information.
Yeah, so the ones that they didn't change, we don't need to discuss, just flip through them. They didn't do anything, we already voted on them, we're done, they liked them.
They're telling you what a good job you did.
Yeah.
And so isn't it nice, so you
I'm
can
waiting.
just flip the page and
Hey, I
flip
already
it like
got
this.
I got my certificate in the mail. You didn't get a certificate?
That's
But that was
unfair.
made for the city attorney search. I got a lot of them, I got them all framed.
Look for the city manager. Bernadette, we didn't get that. You're making me say something.
I didn't get it.
What?
Whatever it is, whatever he's talking about, I didn't get it.
I don't know,
It was really
he's making
nice.
stuff up, okay.
Well, we went to a special party.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
What? Oh, boy.
And then that
Yeah.
bonus was nice.
Yeah, that was nice.
Let's just flip
Oh,
through
yeah,
more
I get
feet.
that.
This is what you gotta do.
Tax break? Okay, let's go.
Okay, so,
They're having jokes amongst themselves.
What's the next one that they asked?
8.02,
8.02.
they were okay with it, this is sale or lease of
Paul.
city.
I think we already got to 8.04.
Oh, if they said it was okay, we don't even need to talk about it.
They changed something.
Oh, then we need to talk about it. Go ahead, what did they change?
They asked to remove the word morals from the description of public purpose.
Where is it?
To wit, an activity about, toward the end of the first paragraph, an activity that is essential to the health, safety, or general
What do we
welfare of the city. You previously had morals, which I had gotten, I think it was from
Alright,
case law.
I'm fine with that.
They took out morals.
They did it.
8.04, no objection.
Wow, really? Okay, I thought that was gonna be quite controversial. Okay,
Did I get that right, Anthony?
okay, keep going. 8,
8.09.
yeah.
The city commission seeks your input for extending the 50-year limitation for leases, licenses, concessions, and use agreements, and increase the voting threshold for approval to unanimous. So there was a lot of discussion about the statute governing creation of condominiums on less than, I think it's 99 years on property, on a leasehold property that is less than, I believe it's 99 years. So with a 50-year limitation, that would not be possible.
Okay, the way I feel, if they want over 50 years and they think that with a unanimous vote, I'm sort of okay about it. That's the way I feel. I mean, that's a unanimous vote on anything means it's gotta be a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
And
I'm wondering what the discussion, you said there was a lot of discussion about it, can you elaborate a little bit more?
So the discussion was centered around, well, it was really centered around what Paul's talking about. So the mayor said he had concerns because the leasing of the 99 years versus the 50 years, you wouldn't be able to do what they did on Bahia Mars property. And that with the unanimous vote, they were okay with going down that path. But that's really where the conversation kind of ended. I don't have any notes saying that there's really much more than that. Let's see, the vice mayor mentioned, it could be a threshold issue based on value of the supermajority, small parcels do not meet the same threshold. Commissioner Glassman said he agreed with the mayor, raising the bar from 4 to 5 for the unanimous vote. And there really wasn't much more than that. Commissioner Sorensen also agreed.
Okay, thank you.
So I guess the question is, leave the language as is with the addition of anything over 50 years would require unanimous vote?
yes. Okay, we'll bring it back?
Yep.
You guys okay?
You want it brought back to you?
Yes. Yes, David. David?
I think his hand was up for.
Hand was up.
Yes?
Got his hand up.
Okay, I am gonna take another privilege. Cause the Human Resources Department, my favorite department, has been sitting in the back, I wanna get them home. If you don't mind, I'd like to go to their item to get them out of here.
You guys should have made more noise.
Yeah.
Those things.
Good evening, Chair Weiss, board members, I'm Jerome Post, I'm the Director of Human Resources. I will be presenting for you section 4.06 of the charter, which addresses vacancy within the city manager position. The exhibit that you had in your packet, I believe, is incorrect. So I'm having Anthony Fajardo distribute what is the correct exhibit. and I'll point out the difference between the two, and they're really the heart of this particular change. What we're looking to do is to clarify the difference between a temporary vacancy in, or absence of a city manager versus the office itself being vacant. So you see, we broke out into two sections, the difference between the two. The first is language identifying when there's a resignation or a separation of the city manager. The commission would by resolution designate a qualified person, and the qualifications are actually listed out in the charter already, to temporarily exercise the duties of the city manager. And then that person would be designated known as the interim city manager. We've noticed throughout the charter that there is interchangeable use of the words interim and acting. And to most people, there doesn't seem to be a difference, but there technically is. Interim refers to a person who is placed into a position temporarily because that position is vacated. There is no incumbent within that position. Conversely, in that second section, you'll see a reference to the acting city manager. An acting position is somebody who is temporarily exercising the function of that position while the incumbent is still there, but not actually operating for whatever reason, whether it be medical reasons, vacation, whatever other absence might cause that person to be out of the office. So we also added language to identify how a person could be named as an acting city manager, and it's listed there for your reading.
Okay, Jerome, let's just take one at a time.
Okay.
Is there a reason why there needs to be an interim city manager? Because the interim city manager is the city manager for a limited term,
Correct.
okay? But is there any significance to the term interim city manager? In other words, okay, you're the city manager, Jerome, you're the city manager for 3 months. What is the difference between that and you're the interim city manager for 3 months?
The difference would be that there would be an expectation that another person would be coming in to fill that position on a permanent basis.
Right, but couldn't they do that when they appoint the 3-month city manager? Say, hi, Jerome, you're the city manager for 3 months until we go through the search process. I mean, is there a significance to having this whole interim city manager, which seems to cause some confusion?
It's largely semantics,
Right.
yes. However, we felt the clarification would be better for the reader who would understand that that position is going to be filled by a permanent position.
Okay, so you think it's worthwhile to keep the term interim city manager?
Yes.
Excuse me. Okay.
Now, I would point out that if we identify these changes, we would need to make it consistent throughout the charter. And Mr. Mangel might have some input into that. But any ballot initiative that would address this change would need to be written broadly enough for it to apply throughout the charter.
But it's really not a substantive change.
I think it makes sense.
It makes sense.
I understand it, but I don't think it's I think it's just a semantics thing, isn't it?
Not really.
What's the real
They're
substance?
two different titles. They're two different
And they're two
titles.
different titles for two different reasons. One, because the acting city manager is, this is when I'm sorry, the interim, the acting is, I'm acting for the city manager when the city manager's not there. But more importantly, the city manager gets to designate who that acting person is. On the other hand, the interim city manager is, there is no city manager, and the city commission gets to designate who that person is. So I like the difference, and I think it's necessary.
What is the substantive difference between what we have now?
You don't have interim.
We don't have interim, and there is a difference in who designates who is going to occupy that role. And so we clarified that in that second language, depending on the nature of the absence of the city manager.
Current language, could I see what it says?
It's underlined,
Is it-
green one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really, the major difference is the current language as it stands now. Oh, sorry, Yvette Matthews, Assistant City Manager. The current language as it stands now in the charter really lumps together when someone is acting because of resignation, absence, or disability. So all of those things are grouped together under the power of the city commission, as opposed to providing the person that is serving in the role of city manager the ability to appoint someone if they are out of the office for, let's say, a day or a shorter time period.
Got it. Now that I see the current section, I understand why it's confusing, so, okay, I'm fine now.
So, may I, Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
So, if you agree with that, 4.08 would have to be amended as well, because it says the city manager may be removed or discharged by resolution of the city commission at any time. In such resolution, the commission shall designate an acting city manager.
So you'll,
So
To
it
serve.
would be interim.
you'll
Because that's
conform
what
the
they
rest
have.
of the charter, there might be other places where
Yeah.
it's,
So there's one other thing that in your previous discussions, you had wanted to leave the ultimate decision to the city commission in the event the city commission disagreed, and there was some discussion about that too.
But I think that was when we weren't talking about an acting.
That was during the absence of the city manager.
So I think this is better, my personal.
okay, so the question is, I understand why it needs to be clarified. The question is, if the city manager is going out of town and designates an acting city manager, should the city commission have the ability to say, we don't like that person?
No, I think,
No.
I trust Mary. Mary knows what I want to have happen in my absence. I'm still the city manager. Mary's acting, Mary's fine. I think that should be,
Okay,
Yeah.
is there general agreement with what Bernadette said? Michael?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, perfect. All right, so does this language do it, Paul?
There are a few other things. Acting city manager also appears in,
Well, wherever you have to change it to
Explain
conform
it
with
out.
this.
And also the personnel rules are gonna have to change
That's
too.
good, that's a good job.
that's an easier.
It's there too.
Okay, so anyway, wherever you do it, I will take a motion to approve what Jerome has suggested
So moved.
and seconded by
I'll second it.
Mary seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, you're all set.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Sorry, I should have called on you right from the beginning. I'm
Yeah, you didn't
very-
make enough noise, I'm telling you.
I knocked over a whole water bottle.
Okay, back to where we were, Paul.
Is that it?
No,
I'm
There's
sorry,
still
hold
one
on.
more.
Oh, there's one more? Where is the other one?
That's in the packet.
Oh, that's in the packet, okay.
Second to last page.
Yep, hold on.
There we go. The words are so little.
6.04.
Full service board.
Okay. This is on
Is that the last page?
D, 2, 3.
Is
The
it?
last page.
It's the last page, right?
Second to last.
Second to
Okay.
last.
Well, second to is it page 3 of 3 or 2?
It's a double sided.
into 3 of
Gotcha,
Double
thank
sided.
you.
Okay, okay, go ahead.
Hi, Krista Milligan, Deputy Human Resources Director. I'm here today to talk about some amendments to how we appoint members to the Civil Service Board and then an amendment to one of their duties. So right now, we have a Civil Service Board comprised of 3 people that are appointed for 4-year terms. One of them is appointed by the mayor, one by city management, and then one by the classified service, which is really comprised of only about 150 employees that are not represented by the union. The process for the employees to pick their representative right now is a little administratively cumbersome.
Can I just stop you for a second?
Yes.
Could you just tell us what the Civil Service Board does?
Sure, absolutely. Currently, the Civil Service Board is going to listen to appeals for any type of employment action such as suspensions, terminations, things like that, demotions, anything that hits someone's pocket. They have the right to appeal there. Again, this is non-represented employees. They also currently listen to and make recommendations on amendments to the personnel rules. They have to make those recommendations to the commission because they're codified in ordinance. And one of the duties we're actually looking to remove, to kind of jump ahead, is currently there is language that says they also have to review and consider new class specifications or revisions and amendment to existing class specs and advise the city manager by motion concerning these. So basically job descriptions, if we need to amend a job description, it's supposed to go before the Civil Service Board. To speak on that, since we're talking about it, that is incredibly administratively cumbersome. It slows down recruitment and things like that. We could very well have the need to, for instance, add an equivalency. And what I mean by that is, let's say we have a position that requires a bachelor's degree and 5 years of experience. This is a difficult to fill position. We may want to add, as we have in many of our descriptions, that years of experience could substitute for the education. So let's say I have an AA and 7 years of experience. We can't hire a person or advertise it like that unless that equivalency is in there. That's just a small example. So we would like to be able to just do that at the human resources level with our class and comp team, very qualified team, without having to take it to the Civil Service Board. So that's one of the duties we're looking to remove.
So let's just talk about that one, because that one's relatively simple. Is there anybody that has has a problem with eliminating that duty from the Civil Service Board and letting it be done by staff? Okay. So let's move on to the other one.
Central, anything that's central. Not about that necessarily, but how does the Civil Service Board interact with the union, to the union?
Not at all. This
Okay.
is only
Just wanted to
representing
make
what's
sure.
called our classified employees. So these are folks that are not like executive leadership,
Yeah,
but
okay.
also not represented by a union.
Got it.
There's
Thank
only
you.
about 150 of them.
Okay.
Still a good number, they have people.
Okay, go ahead.
I wanna
question?
ask her one question. How does this affect or has affected in the past? Because usually when something is already in print, it's because of an occurrence. And so that if you got employees there that have been there for a long time and have all the necessary requirements, but yet when you change the language, that it will allow for somebody else to have that position who may be already a part of the job flow when that person probably has been applying and rejected. So is that one of the reasons why the civil service, it goes before that board to be examined prior to the change?
You're talking about for changing the job
Yes.
descriptions?
Yes.
I will be honest with you, I don't know why that was originally included in the charter language. I have seen in civil service systems, some places do have that as part of the board. They tend to be smaller cities that probably don't have as the diversity of classification that we have here. I can't speak to why it's there. But conversely, to your point, you could very easily have a very qualified internal candidate looking to promote, again, has an associate's and 10 years of experience, but then can't qualify for this position because the equivalency isn't listed in there. And then we can't do anything until we actually take it to the Civil Service Board that only meets once a month and they vote on it. Meanwhile, there's vacancies, we're incurring overtime, we're potentially losing that candidate, whether it be internal or external. So that's why we're looking to make the change. But again, I don't wanna make up a story as to why it was
Yeah,
originally put there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so by way of background, there's three people on the Civil Service Board.
Yes.
One's appointed by the mayor with the approval of the city commission. The second's appointed by the manager.
Yes, sir.
And the third is basically elected from the classified service.
Yes.
The process you have now is a two-step
There's nominations to nominate. So
Exactly.
basically, we have to provide the entire body, the classified body, with a list of employees.
Yeah.
They can then nominate folks from them to be considered, to be voted for, to be on the nominating committee. So then we have to send that list back out. They vote. that becomes the nominating committee. They then put forward nominations to be elected to the board.
Why do we need this two-step process?
I don't think we do. So when we just went through this process, we only had 3 names given by the body to serve as the nominating committee. So we actually didn't even have to send it back out for a vote. Those 3 people then nominated folks to be considered for the board, and then that's voted on by the
So
classified service.
why do you need any nominating committee at all?
I think the reason why you need the nominating committee is that you're trying, you'd be surprised at how much trouble the nominating committee themselves had coming up with names to present to the body to choose from.
Can they nominate themselves?
They cannot, the person that they're nominating cannot be a city employee, they cannot be a relative of a city employee. They have to live within the city boundaries or work within the city boundaries. They cannot serve on another board. Those are the parameters that are in place on who can serve as a representative on the civil service board. So I think that if we were to just put out a call to the classified service and say, hey, throw some names out there, guys, and then we'll have you all vote on them, I don't think we're gonna get anyone. So I think that's why we need the
Is
committee.
this whole idea of just pulling somebody from the public, is that something that works?
I can tell you that historically, just in the time I've been here, the person that eventually gets elected by the employees is a former city employee who they know, they're comfortable with, and the person is willing to serve. And they are at least knowledgeable of the city's policies, procedures, rules, what have you. And that person, of course, typically lives or works within the city, or they have to by.
So I guess I don't mean to pull apart something that doesn't need to be pulled apart, but do we have to have all of this? Is there some simpler, what seems like a lot?
So what we're proposing is that it would just simply be, we send out a notice to the classified service and say, hey, pick your committee. And then that committee nominates folks and we send it out for an election. And then that would be the process. But the other thing we're looking to amend is currently there has to be a meeting to certify the election results, which requires.
Let's just stick with the first one.
Okay.
Is there a way that if you were rewriting the thing that you could simplify this process, make it easier for yourself, but still work? Is there a way to do this easier and better, because it seems like a lot?
Well, and I think that what we did consider that, and it's just simply eliminating the step of nominating people for the nominating committee that have to be voted on. It's removing that portion of it and just having the classified service name names of who they want, and the top 3 vote getters, they get to be on the nomination committee. So that takes out the portion of receiving a list of nominations that we then have to put back out to be voted on for the nominating committee.
Eliminating a whole step.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Yeah.
eliminate 2 steps. The question is whether you could just put out a notice saying anybody who's got a nomination to be the 3rd member on the Civil Service Committee, send it to us. And put those people out, put it out, and let the people vote on it. And whoever gets the most votes wins.
So because of the lack of responsiveness we saw from the classified body when it came to even picking people they know and work with every day to be on the nominating committee, I'm concerned with that without dedicated employees who actually want to do this, we're not gonna get names. Even the people we had, we only ended up with 3 people on the nominating committee. They were only able to produce 2 names.
So it's working for you.
That portion's work, I think we do need like employee representatives to come up with these names and generate these names. Yeah, and we had to meet actually several times. They ran into lots of people not being interested, things like
How
that,
many
so.
times a year how many cases does this board have a year?
It has not met since I've been here, and I'm almost on 2 years. When's the last time I met?
It's been over 2 years.
Yeah,
Since they've met.
since they've met.
Since
That's
it,
that's why I'm.
Now, we do have reason.
I tend to oversimplify, but it just seems like so much for a meeting once every 2 years to go through this whole, it just seems like.
Now, that said, we will be meeting more frequently. So for instance, we have to meet because we just negotiated Juneteenth for some of the unions. So in order to make that available to the classified service, we have to amend the personnel rules and bring it to them. as Paul pointed out, we're gonna have to amend the personnel rules when it comes to the language of acting city manager if that passes, things like that. So there could be potentially action that this board is taking that could affect amendments we need to make to the rules, which could cause us to meet more frequently.
So
President's Day was added, that one doesn't.
Yes, and we had to bring that before the Civil Service Board for approval or
Bernadette.
recommendation to the commission.
So question for you, and I'm wondering how this is worked out, and if they haven't been meeting, I guess maybe you wouldn't know, but subpoena powers, that's a lot for this board. And so they have the ability to subpoena witnesses and documents, and I mean, that's quite a lot of power. And so how has that worked? Does anybody know?
Well, I can tell you just the experience I had, the last case that they did have dragged on for quite a while. It went almost a full year where they met monthly to hear testimony, et cetera, from a former employee who had been discharged from the city. The city did prevail in that case. However, during that process, the former employee really needed to have their witnesses called and made available for him. So that subpoena power really became fairly important to the charging party.
I see.
Maybe I'm too much of a former management labor lawyer, but do we really need this board? Improving your personnel rules, improving you guys are well qualified to do this.
In my perspective, civil service boards have been around a long time, as you know. In a lot of cases, particularly smaller cities, they pretty much outlived their usefulness, et cetera. In larger cities, they can be useful, however, they tend to really complicate processes
They do, that's why I'm spending a little time on this.
But on the other hand, there is still the labor representation issue. If they're not represented by a union and they're not high enough in the organization to be a member of management, there is still some expectation of preservation of job rights and property rights in terms of their compensation.
And in this current climate, I would not be in favor of trying to get rid of, rescind,
We
the
actually
civil
have
service board.
employees who have turned down promotions because the promotion meant they would no longer be represented by the civil service board.
Wow.
It's not often, but it has happened.
Right, but still, right.
Okay. All right, we're going with the flow here. So your recommendation is to simplify the process, eliminate the nominating committee for the nominating committee,
Right.
okay? And then we had one other one.
And then we have to certify the election, and it requires that the mayor choose 2 commissioners to sit on that board with the city manager's designee. And it's kind of hard to get the commissioners together sometimes, so it can delay the process. So we would just like to allow 2 of the members of the nominating committee to be part of that board that certifies the election.
Okay, that makes it easier for you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Does anybody have any concerns about what's been proposed by the Human Resources Department? Yes, hi.
Member of the public.
Yeah, tell us your name.
I'm Marilyn Momano. I live in Fort Lauderdale.
Great, Marilyn, welcome.
I am a long-term, an original member of DC 37 in New York City. And even when I became a manager and sat across the table from DC 37, I'm a union person.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a good idea to eliminate the participation of that board in the evaluation of changes to the job descriptions. You guys are good guys, you guys are nice guys. The next guy is not a nice guy. And as a general rule, I think taking that opportunity for the workers themselves to review the job classifications is a mistake, my opinion.
Thank you. Okay, so how should we do this? I'm prepared to vote on the recommendation from the Human Resources Department exactly as it's been proposed. Do I have a motion there?
I motion it.
Make the second.
Second by Michael. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, what's your guys' tolerance for keeping working or stopping?
Stop it.
I knew that was coming. I was stopping like 15 minutes. What more do we have to do here?
You almost there? I only have one.
Oh, okay.
I have one more section.
done.
All right, good, good.
Parks. Sorry.
Yeah.
If you'll indulge me.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair? Yes. Are we finished or?
One more.
Which item?
8.21.
Just the
There should
prior
be a
one
sh-
on,
separate
just the
sheet.
prior page, the one we were talking about.
No, there was a separate sheet that left over.
Oh, here it is.
If you'll indulge me, there's a replacement page because what's in your packet, in my haste to get it out.
Okay, so we're at this one on the page, this one,
Right here?
Yes.
where are we at?
Oh.
This one?
Yes.
Okay,
So,
what's the new, what's the new stuff, Paul?
so there was discussion about the possibility of rezoning parkland in advance of the charter amendment that would require a referendum for the sale or transfer of parkland and unanimous vote for lease, license, concession, or other use. And as was done in 2004, when that section was amended, the city commission asked to insert the date of amendment. I left it blank pending drafting of
Okay, so the only
ordinance.
change is what? The last section from what we proposed, what?
Yes, the last section has,
What I'm trying to see is what is being changed from what
last-
we proposed.
the last paragraph says, in accordance with the city, any land zoned parks, recreation, open space in accordance with the ULDR on, and we're going to insert the date of, the effective date of the amendment.
So the prior paragraph was our language, all the rest of it was our language.
Yes.
The only thing that's been added is that last sentence at the end. Not even that, just adding effective date.
And I think unanimous vote, was that added?
No, I think that was there. I think that was there.
Well,
The
let's,
reason
can I
it's so-
just say, let's not think, could you check?
The reason it's underlined is because it was moved. Remember the two provisions were separated between sale and lease. They were separated, it was bifurcated into two paragraphs. So,
And what was the reason for the effective, cause they want to, so would this make it more or less protective for parklands? This would enable the people, whoever,
This makes it more.
this would enable people who don't, who wanna take parklands out of this category to amend the land use development regulations prior to the amendment being passed and get them out from under the wire.
If there's a unanimous vote.
Yeah, this says unanimous vote, that's what I'm. As long as they got a unanimous vote, they're there.
I know, what I'm saying is that if somebody takes a piece of parkland right now, they say, oh, you guys are doing this, and they change it now, there's no unanimous vote required.
Right.
So what they could do is they could take a piece of parkland that somebody has their eye on, and prior to the time these charter amendments pass, take it out of the parks designation. Am I wrong? I'm right. Am I right?
Is that what it means?
so the current charter says additionally, any land zoned park on November 10th, 2004 shall require a unanimous vote of the entire city commission to remove
Okay, so
such
this
designation.
basically creates a period between now and the date this is passed to change the designation. Am I reading this wrong?
Change is hesitate to say anything more, being the one who had a root canal, so.
Whatever you say.
But
Being
the other,
recorded.
the other piece is
Requires even.
1 year before, so it was the city shall not sell or transfer or lease for more than 1 year.
Not transfer.
Yeah.
This is just
Previously.
lease.
Oh, yeah,
license.
yeah, right,
This is
so,
just a
or,
little-
right, or lease for more than 1 year,
Right.
so that's,
So this is that just deals with like concessions and what they were doing. Some people said what they were doing was they were saying, right, that it was
That's a different section, but it's related, yeah. This is just
Don't get into
parkland.
those concessions, please.
Yeah, this is just park.
okay, anyway, this says anything they're gonna do in a park as a lease for more than 1 year requires a unanimous vote. So if they wanna give somebody a franchise or and I was okay with that. I honestly think that what they're asking us to do is provide less protection to parks.
That's not good.
Am I wrong?
maybe just again.
Alright, good, I'm taking my lawyer's reading
Or
this.
maybe we can make it our first item at the next meeting.
Good idea.
How about
Let's
that?
do that. Alright.
Because
All right.
I don't want that to happen.
Okay, so my thought about this is that it creates a happy or an unhappy space between now and the time these charter amendments are enacted to change the designation of parks, Alvite Park, in the Unified Land Development Regulations, so that it doesn't come under this unanimous vote. That's what I think
We
it
don't wanna do that.
and I'm not sure that I wanna do that, but subject to, yes.
Yes, I'm representing Lauderdale tomorrow, and we are very active in protecting parks. So I'm glad you're gonna go back to this at the next meeting, cause this takes a lot of time and effort. But I have another question for you regarding this whole process, if that's
Okay, well,
appropriate.
let us finish our agenda, then we're gonna open it up for public
Oh,
comment.
well, then I'll wait for the public
Just hold on
comment.
one second. Anything else on our agenda? Junia, everybody, staff, thank you so much for doing this. Okay, public comment, go ahead. Oh, Michael,
Chair.
Public comment, Michael.
hold on, Mike.
Excuse me.
No.
Unfortunately, I will not be here at the next meeting. I'm the president for my civic association. It's their annual fundraiser.
And I've also been advised that one of our esteemed attorneys, Paul, will not be here.
Can we change the date?
So let's change the date. Should we change the date? Paul, are you out for an extended period?
You're all invited, I mean.
Back on.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'd like
It's
to
at
go.
Cafe Vico, so if you wanna, it's at Cafe Vico if you wanna come.
That's good, I'll come.
I'm back on December.
So your next
Interfere with-
meeting is December fourth.
That's correct.
I would have to work with the clerk's office to find availability for the room, so what's the date are you proposing that we would have a quorum for a next meeting? It's December, do you wanna have a meeting in December?
Yeah, we're thinking we wanna have a meeting, cause we like each other,
Okay.
it's fun.
Can we
And it
look
may
at-
not be in this room if it's not available, but I will work with the clerk's office.
Okay.
So let me have the dates that we would have a quorum. What about the 11th?
That's good.
Hold on,
Or
holdie, holdie.
what about
I'm not
the,
gonna
I think
be here.
that's our chambers party, what about the 8th? Does Monday, the 8th work
But
for you?
Paul won't be
Paul's
back.
not gonna be
Oh,
here.
Paul won't be back, okay, that
What time, when are you leaving, Paul?
I'm leaving on the 19th of November.
Oh, through the what, 8th?
Through the 8th, I come back
Okay.
on the 9th.
So we don't wanna do it, Paul, just for break away, he's gotta have a chance to.
What about the 15th?
So December 11th does not work?
What about the 15th on Monday? Monday the
December 11th? No, I can't.
Alright,
The 15th? The 15th?
15th,
Does that work?
Monday, December 15th,
Does that work for anybody?
does that work for everyone?
okay, I have an appointment at 4 to 5. I could make 5:30.
I'm in.
Is that great?
Alright,
Perfect.
I will find a location, not if this one is not available.
All right,
Awesome, thank you all.
David, I will work with you to find availability for December 15th. Do we need?
You said December 15th?
Yes, instead of December 4th, the meeting is gonna be changed to December 15th.
I'm trying to get into the calendar now, but either way, we'll find a location or we'll kick somebody out and we'll put them somewhere else. We'll figure it out.
You said it, you'll kick somebody out. You heard it.
It's the first day of Hanukkah.
That's, I was just going to
Yeah, but
say,
that's not a
that's the
religious,
first day
no,
of
that's not a
Hanukkah.
religious holiday.
Anthony?
No, that's not like Yom Kippur or Rosh Hashanah, that's the festive holiday. No,
Okay,
no.
thanks, Jim.
You gotta get back to your public.
Do we,
Let's push it to the next agenda.
December 15th, Monday.
I do wanna ask about Tim.
There's something in that box.
There's something here? Well, the clerk said that he could kick them out.
Just wanna know if they're okay with it.
What, Jerry, or what is it? What meeting is in there?
I think SAB.
What's SAB?
Sustainability. All right, we'll work on location. We'll
Work on a
we'll get
location.
it taken care of.
So we're gonna move our, do we have a motion to move
Do we
our,
need to move, yeah, go
move
ahead.
our meeting to what date?
December 15th from December 4th.
Correct. Motion by Michael, second, you made a motion.
I'm in favor of that, sure.
We're gonna have it at Vico's.
Fourth, you're all invited, come
We have
on.
a big room there.
They have a big room in Cafe Vico.
December the fourth, yes, Taste of Italy, yeah.
Okay, second,
I second it.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, member of the public, open to, no.
Marilyn Romano for.
I'm sorry, Marilyn.
No, please, go ahead.
One more question. There was section 10.03 of the charter that we had discussed, or the board had discussed before. It's public hearing and public notice. I kinda missed it.
Let's do it for next time.
Yeah, I was just gonna make sure you're okay with me putting it on
Yes.
the agenda. Okay.
We missed it in terms of presenting it to the city commission.
Oh, we did? Whoops, okay. So for next time, let's talk a little bit about the new items that we have before we adjourn. Okay, I think what we should do is clean up what we have. And then after the first of the year, are you wanna start to dive into the mayor's stuff?
It's December, so no.
December to remember. Okay,
We could look into it, maybe,
what do you wanna do?
Well, December 15th, we're going to discuss.
No, we have a bunch of other stuff to discuss December 15th. The question is whether we're gonna try to start to take up some of the mayor's items, which I think is.
I think we
Start with the
start
new
in
year.
January,
In
you know.
January.
I knew the answer to this question, okay. So for this agenda, it's just gonna be follow-up, cleanup items.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
start the year fresh.
That's right, all clean.
8.21 are the two cleanup items, and then I still have the other items that are left over that we
Okay.
didn't get to.
All right. Now, go ahead.
Now, we're good? Okay.
Sorry.
Marilyn. Actually, I was gonna say something about the mayor's items, in that, you know, some of them are very interesting and you'll have a good discussion about them, but I'm very concerned. I'm concerned because this committee, or this board got a time problem here, a time crunch. There is a time when you have got to put forward a proposal to the commission for them to take the action of putting it on the agenda, on the ballot for the election in November. I would like to know what that date is, and because there are other groups in the city who are anxious to get this process moving, who were supportive of your proposals in May of 2024, and were very disappointed when your proposals were not put forward by the commission for a vote by the citizens. And we're very concerned that if you continue to take on these additional issues, you're gonna miss your timeline, and B, we have not heard anything tonight about a community input. And one of the reasons the commission gave for not putting it on the ballot the last time around is that there was no community input. And we're very concerned about that. And I heard at the last meeting that they were sort of addressing the staff and giving them the blessing to go forth and put together a community participation piece here. And I haven't heard it tonight, maybe you'll discuss it in December, but again, time is the issue here. And I would really appreciate it, Anthony or David, can you give me the last commission meeting at which the commission would have to adopt their recommendations to get it on the calendar, because other people are making plans.
So David, do you wanna chime in on the date?
Yeah, the last possible date that they could adopt the ordinance would be the first meeting of June 2026. However, would be better if it was approved the last meeting in May.
Last meeting in May. Thank you very much, David.
I
Thank
would
you,
just-
that's,
You're welcome.
Just comment to you
yes,
that this board doesn't put things on the ballot.
that's correct.
We're not writing ballot language, we're not doing any of that. So we've made, proposals to the city commission, and it really is up to them to, like, there's a number of things that they've agree with our recommendations. They're free to do whatever they want with them. They can put them on the ballot, they could not put them on the ballot, it's out of our control. So it's if there's a timing concern that you have, it really is, it's the discretion of the commission how they wanna proceed with this stuff, not
Yes, so
us.
we understand that, and we understand that, you make recommendations, you don't make the decision. But
And we've made our recommendations.
and the commission rejected them the last time around. So that's a concern to us, and we're hoping that they don't reject your recommendations this time around, but again, if you don't get those recommendations to them in a timely fashion with a community input piece, we'll be in the same position we were in May of 2024. And for some of us that, that is not acceptable, and we're gonna have to think about what we need to do if that's gonna be the case.
Mr. Chair, yeah, I'd like to underscore what Marilyn said. Marilyn, I highly agree with you because Anthony Fajardo made a presentation to the Council for All Civic Associations. Everybody was excited, there was a QR code on there, am I correct?
Yeah, babe.
Okay, and the fact of the matter is that also the chair, Bill Brown, was appointing all the district heads, all the full districts to go ahead and form and have a presentation, and that's what I'm a very big proponent of also too, is the communication of what we're doing here. And that it slid right away from, and it's not being mentioned whatsoever.
Okay, well, we had Ashley here
Yes,
a
so
number of times to try to,
Yeah,
we had
the direction,
the survey and she was,
And
so
we
I don't know
got
where any of
shot
that
down.
is.
We
that got shot down and
well, the direction we got was to bring survey questions back to the city commission for their approval and recommendations for editing them. What we were looking for was to have the meeting that we just did, which is the result of this memo
Great.
and backup material,
Great.
to get guidance from them that we can use that to guide what those questions were gonna be, because our concern from a staff side was that if we put too much on there, too much volume on that public outreach, that was gonna cause maybe more problems than it was gonna solve. However, the commission said, do the whole thing. So I've been talking to Ashley about bringing that item back to commission for discussion with those survey questions so that we can get clear direction on what they would like to see for the survey. From my perspective, everything but the survey, I think could still move forward as long as I get direction to do it. So, if I need to go out to more civic association meetings like we
Direction from the
discussed, I'm
commission.
okay. Just from the commission or from the city attorney's office on that, which I know we haven't really discussed it after the the most recent city commission meeting. But Ashley and I felt that based on the commission's feedback, it would be important at least for the survey items to go back to them for discussion.
And if I might, I agree with your analysis of where they're at on that, they wanted to see those questions. And I trust you and Ashley and the staff to do this in a professional manner. I'm only concerned with the time. If it's gonna take you 6 months to get to that, we're wasted, we can't do it.
And to address the ballot question as well, the city commission also said put it all together as a package for the ballot. So I did put both those items on here as for discussion, to see if you had any change in direction you'd like us to take or take back to the commission or the city manager's office, to get your input as the board. We could definitely talk about it next time, but I think, Chris, we should probably talk to the city manager about how she would like to proceed.
Yes.
Just to clarify, when we talk about the community outreach that we had discussed previously, the presentation you did, there's two things. One is the survey and one is the community outreach, where members of either the board
representatives that be designated would go to each district and have district meetings. And the way we left it was that we were waiting to hear from the commission at the last conference meeting as to should we go ahead or not? And we don't have any direction at this point, so.
My confusion about this is what the public input is about. So there's two different stages of public input. One public input is, hey, we're revising the charter, what's up? What do you wanna see changed? What do you like, what you don't like? Sort of a general, like, grab bag and say to people, okay, what's on your mind? That kind of public input. The second type of public input is in reaction to specific proposals, which is we've proposed this, so that's another one. And the third one is sort of general topics. What do you think about city government? What do you think about, and I don't really know where to go with it.
I think it's the second one that you said, what we've come up with, so that's what needs to be
So you
communicated.
think input regarding, right,
Specific.
right.
Specific.
And so,
Yes.
honestly, I think that I think honestly, the commission's gotta tell us what they wanna move forward with, you know?
Well, that can be another question that we put forth,
Yeah.
and
It was part of the discussion when we presented to the commission, and like I said, it was kind of tied to, I tried to tie it to, like, you have this ballot initiative coming up, and what do you want on the ballot? And there's kind of a conversation of, is it too big, too much, or should you break it down? They said do it all, and I think that creates a problem, because the last time we brought everything.
It was too much, too late.
Right.
But aren't we talking about two separate things? Last time it was too much too late for the city commission. Here, we're talking about going to the public, right? That's different.
Yes, I guess in terms
Sort
of
of.
when you started, but if there's anything substantive that comes out of it that might need further discussion, that could impact the timeline as well. So I it just depends on how fast we can get it moving and what that feedback is and how we incorporate it, if there's a desire to incorporate anything new.
And quite frankly, the commission did have, a conference meeting.
Yeah.
And so, prior in 2024, they didn't have anything.
No.
They just got this huge volume of stuff in May, I wanna say.
We didn't blame them,
Yeah.
blame them because we were disappointed. But they just did not have it in time
Correct,
to
yeah,
absorb it,
so,
and that will not be the case this time.
yeah,
But if you miss that community participation piece, it'll be like that meeting we had at the council and everybody's eyes glazed over. So we gotta have, some,
But my question is, community participation on what?
I agree with Mary, it's on the second type of community
on
participation.
what
We have
that's what
enough.
we've done,
We
yeah,
have enough now,
yeah.
and there's real specific,
Okay, so we have a question for the
proposals that
city
we can
commission
talk
and the
about.
manager, which is, do they want us to go, I'm happy to, say fine to anything, do they want us to go out into the community according to the plan that we previously had with the different neighborhood representatives and present what we've come up with. The concern I have is some of the stuff we came up with, the city commission may not be interested in. That's the concern I have. So we go out there and we say, we're gonna do this, and the city commission has no interest in doing it. So we've gotten everybody all excited about something and the city commission, I don't know the right thing to do here.
But the city commission has looked at what we proposed, and they've said some are fine and some changes, and I think that's what.
Yeah, I would feel comfortable, the things that they've said fine, I feel comfortable going to the public and saying, this is what the city commission has approved. Yeah.
I mean, I think we could do that now, that's
But I
what
would want the city commission to tell us that's okay, because I don't think they took a formal vote that they've approved it.
When we had Anthony come and propose it to the council in May of 2024, I think I was president, I didn't ask the city commission, I just had it, I just did it.
Can I get, something that Mary said I think is very important, and this to me has always been a confusion. You are not a servant of the commission, okay? You're an independent board, you make recommendations to the commission, but you may have a recommendation that is not necessarily what the commission wants to do. that's a problem, because it's only they who can put it on the board, on the agenda, on the election.
And if
But
I,
when we go out to the public participation, it may be that the public agrees with you as opposed to the commission, and would like for the commission to move themselves back to where you are.
and some institutional knowledge, Mr. Chair and also members of the board, is that when they came, the gentleman that made the presentation on behalf of the CRB to us.
Harrison.
Yeah, exactly. The majority of the audience didn't understand what was presented. Especially for, and I felt bad for District 3, for District 4, and you know, and I went around because I'm the vice president of that, and I said, do you understand what was said? Do you understand what was said? And everyone's, no, I don't understand what this means. And see, that's why I asked my commissioner, I wanna sit on this board. To do my fiduciary responsibility, making sure everyone understands what's going on there.
I think Brenda had a comment.
So I don't think that, and I agree with you, Marilyn, I don't think that our role is limited to what the city commission likes or doesn't like. I think we, as a group, make recommendations, they are what they are, they can accept or reject the recommendations. And I also think that maybe some of these meetings that we're setting, even the December 15th meeting, it can be, this is a public meeting. I mean, why can't the Civic Association folks come, why can't we ask to use the main, I guess we don't really have we don't have a city hall, but you know, if there's a larger building somewhere that we use, maybe we can have it there, you know, especially since we don't know whether we're gonna have this room or not.
Your heart's in the right place with that.
Yes, and invite people to come hear the discussion so that it's not so overwhelming at one time. You know, they can start to hear, ask questions and comments and.
Especially even what we've just done.
Yeah, so.
I think I have a little bit of different view. I think that our job is to make recommendations to the city commission. I don't think it's to create an advocacy, to be like an advocate out there.
No, I'm not
You know.
suggesting that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm saying that we are a public body, and if we made room and time and space for people to come, meaning this room probably wouldn't be appropriate if you wanted to invite your neighborhood homeowners
Well,
group
we have
or
our meetings
whatever.
here.
Yes, it really,
Yeah.
okay, so well, there you go. It used to have it in a really big room.
We have it, we
You
don't
know,
have
to
it.
be fair, I've been
Yeah,
at
but-
this like 3 years, nobody ever shows up, everyone's publicized.
And that may be the case, but what I'm saying is, we can have, I mean, instead of saying, you know, we've gotta go out to the public, this is a public meeting. We can
Why don't
bring,
they
you know,
come?
bring your group, bring
You
your
know
group,
what?
bring the public to the meeting.
We just have to have
Your heart is in the
food.
right place on this, but that's not the way life works, okay?
What would you propose?
I think what the proposal the last time around was, the one that the council was gonna do, was we were gonna set up a meeting in every district, which is, there are 4 of them, and we have representatives for every district, bring all our homeowners, presidents, civic association presidents together. We were gonna take on that job for you. I mean, not for you, but for the
They were gonna-
city.
they were gonna carry the
What
water.
does that look like, though?
Because we go out there, we don't come.
No, I get it, but what I'm saying, and I don't disagree, I've been a homeowners president, I mean, I'm very, you know, I believe in the public participation, I get it. But what I'm saying is, okay, so we do these different meetings, why can't you get those same people to come to the meetings that we're having?
You know what, these meetings are boring as hell.
Okay, well, I
You're all
mean,
going to heaven for sitting through these
and
meetings.
it's gonna be boring when they come to
People
the
do not
district
come to
meetings.
these meetings. They go to presentations, they see slides, they have talking people, they jump up and down and they make, you know, comments. This
And
is,
they remember
this is
it.
not that kind of participation.
Michael?
For the, and I just, it's a little institutional knowledge. When Anthony made the presentation and Ashley put together this wonderful code and QR code and answers, it dazzled them. Everybody came alive in that room. And if we can just bring that back because the city killed it, and they said no, We need to undo that no. No to me means new opportunities, and we need to go in there and find out what we can do to bring it out there. The civic associations will carry the water, the district leaders, the district the district leaders, the reps, they're gonna also set this up in all different areas, so the people can understand, especially when they're going in to vote on this, these, to vote on these, on the amendment, on these amendments. That's the only thing I gotta say.
Yes.
At that meeting, at that presentation, the purpose of that presentation, and I think the Council of Civic Associations' intent was to go out into the community and provide each district with a vision and an understanding of what the charter is basically. So that's the first thing, because that gets people interested in doing something and maybe coming to one of these. Because you say the charter, what's that? People don't understand that basic concept, that's the Constitution for the city. So if you give that very simple but very informative and funny, it was humorous, so it engaged people. If you give that type of presentation to each district, that gets the ball started. That would come first. A survey afterward would at least give some specifics if we wanted to do something like that. But at least people would have an understanding of why they'd even wanna take the survey. If you throw a survey out, what's it for? Well, why should I do this? If you present to them the reasoning behind the charter, why it's so important, that motivates people. People, as Michael said, after that meeting, people were motivated and very interested in going forward and having it.
So what you're suggesting is step one, which is a charter 101, to go out
That's
to
it.
these community groups and do a charter 101. Is the manager's office okay to do that?
I think we'd have to look at, Chris Cooper, Assistant City Manager. I think we're not disinterested, I think we need to figure out how we can do it with the capacity that we have to do it, so whether that's, several grouped together meetings, so we can kind of get the biggest bang for our buck, maybe there's some multimedia type efforts we can do, I think Ashley probably talked to you a little bit about that when she was here. So, if that's the interest, we can certainly talk about how we could achieve it and within the capacity that we have to do that kind of work.
Okay, so
Open to it, I guess.
I think that that's great.
done without us.
I think it's what?
That can be done without us.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it was never intended that the
Yeah.
board members.
Yeah.
I mean, other than you guys are part of it.
your presentation was fabulous, just to go reiterate that again, and you said think of the word, it was very simple. This is your constitution. People understand the Constitution, not CRB. This is your Constitution. People become aware of it. Oh, okay, tell me what it's about. That's it. Leave it all.
Okay, so
The council will do all the work. So, I'm speaking on behalf of the council, so the city doesn't really have to
You have to
provide
produce
any
the
resources.
materials.
If you wanted to, if there was a wherewithal financially or from a logistics standpoint, put it out there on a Zoom meeting, that could be, or just record it. But the council would be happy to take the responsibility of putting the manpower and the effort, maybe the city would provide a space, but we had already designated, I think, 4 locations, so we're not city-owned, so again, no effort on
And
the
those
city.
are all over the city, all over.
George English Park, YMCA on Sistrunk,
Hoyt Park, wasn't it?
Where?
We were gonna go to Hoyt?
yeah, I think somewhere in District 4.
Oh, Southside School, we were gonna.
Yeah, and somewhere in District 3 and in District 2. So it was gonna be in various different locations. So everyone, and also too, they were gonna put it on the water bill. So when people see the water bill, there's gonna be a link, you can open it up, oh, okay, this is your Constitution.
Yeah, we do need the city's effort to put together the content, cause that we can't do, we could do, but we're not doing.
We have the content,
We need the content, yeah.
we have that.
Well, your presentation was, you might wanna
Yeah, there's
amend that a little bit.
there's some things you should take out of it.
That
That
got
was
people
good.
interested.
alright,
And
let's
if I-
take.
I can do that
okay,
quickly,
hold on.
that's easy.
Right.
Okay, let's take this a step at a time. at our meeting in December, if you guys could report to us whether the city manager's office generally feels comfortable engaging in this Charter 101 education process as sort of a first step. And that way, I mean, that would be a first step. And then the second step would be this issue of whether the city commission wants us to go out and explain to the public items that may or may not be on the ballot. That's my concern. Everybody, you know, I don't know, that's what I'm concerned about.
Yeah, I don't think, you know, I don't think if we as a group want to educate the community about whatever we're
Talking about.
I think that's what, you know, we determine would be appropriate.
Alright, okay, well, let's take the first step and see if we can just do the first one. If you could report, would that be fair to get back to us by our December meeting?
It's just me.
What that would look like and stuff like that. And if you guys have some thoughts as to the rest of it, I'm happy to. Okay, motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.